You're now listening to Mooncakes.
Episode 8.
Ooh, big.
Right? It's episode 8.
It's been 2 months already?
Woo! It's, yeah, it's definitely been 2 months. I didn't say anything because I wanted to tell you something happened. If you didn't notice, my car is not in the driveway or
What
here.
happened?
Okay, so it happened on Friday, and basically,
Oh, shit.
me and my dad, I'm taking my dad, because my dad doesn't really drive anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm taking him to the dentist office in Long Beach. So we literally just come out of our neighborhood, and we're on Los Jardines East and Warner, right next to Muscle Park.
Yes.
So I'm waiting at to make a left turn at a red light, and I'm waiting with my dad, obviously in the passenger. And all of a sudden, I look to my left because I hear this like screeching noise. And I'm like, what? I look, and this car is barreling towards me, towards my direction.
Shit.
And luckily, there's a divider right here.
Yes.
So it slows him down, but he still goes over the divider and hits my front like left wheel. And
shit, that's serious.
Yeah, so I'm in the car. I'm like, whoa. And I was like, whoa. It was like a slow reaction. And like he wasn't going fast because the thing slowed down. Basically, he was trying to make a right turn, and I think he missed it.
Yeah.
So he made a sharp right turn, and he, his car just skirted over the divider. So I'm like, whoa, just slow. It's like a slow, realization, this car is gonna hit us. And luckily, again, the divider slowed him down, so it just hit my. It still hit us, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, is your axle okay? Because it hit
he fucked up the axle.
Fuck.
But homie starts. So I look at him. I'm looking at him, and he's
older, younger,
older.
Oh no,
older.
Okay.
And he starts backing up. You're supposed to
He's trying to run.
Homie is trying to run.
Shut up! Did you get the license?
He backs up slow. I mean, he's trying to back up, and as soon as I grab my phone.
Yeah.
Because at the holder, grab my phone. I took a picture of him and his license. But he just backs up and drives away.
What the fuck?
Luckily, we had all these witnesses watch. Yeah. And we even had there's this really, really nice cross guard that was walking to use the restroom in Muscle Park. And he just happened to just witness the whole thing.
Wow.
And so he called 911, and basically there's a car behind us. She actually followed the guy to the church parking lot.
Wow.
That's, it's right there to the church parking lot. And she's like, he went to the church parking lot.
That's pretty awesome.
All these witnesses are really helpful. And but then he left once he went to church parking lot.
What the heck?
Everyone thought he would return, or maybe he was a little shooken up, but he just left.
Wow.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I remember him being an older Asian gentleman. And
wow, he makes us look so bad.
And I was like, oh. But the police came, and he talked to the witness, and then he talked to me, and I showed him the picture and the license. Luckily, I got the license plate.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, great. We have license plate. I can look him up in my computer.
Yeah. And
here's the deal, though. If I do find, if we do find him, we find his address, and he's here. Do you just want me to, go to him and, get his information? Get his information, and so you can just go through the insurance and that's it?
Yeah.
Or do you want to go one step further and prosecute him for the hit and run?
Debbie, you're so nice! You're not going to prosecute him!
I'm not going to fucking prosecute him, okay? He's this old Asian man. I'm like...
How old? 60 or 70?
60,
That's not that old.
He's older. I mean, it was hard to tell him, but he was older. Reminding me of my dad. So I was like...
But he ain't your dad.
He ain't my dad. But I was like, I'm not going to prosecute him. Nobody's hurt. He's just maybe
your fucking car's hurt.
I know.
Okay, so how does this work with the insurance? Because he doesn't have insurance, probably.
Okay, here's the catch. So the cop comes here, let me go to my computer and come back to you guys. And so he comes, he's like, actually, his home address is right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go check it out. I'll be right back. And in the meantime, we were waiting for the tow truck anyway.
Sorry about your car.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, she's okay. She didn't get any. She didn't. Her body is fine. It's just the axle.
That's a big
the
deal.
suspension. And
Yeah.
stuff, So
big fix.
So the cop's like, I'll be right back, and I'll let you know what happens. I'm like, okay. So we're waiting for the tow truck and everything, and the tow truck comes, and it's kind of a slow process. But in that whole time, like the cop arrives back, and then my dad's like, huh? Oh no. I'm like, what? I turn around and I look. My dad's like, it's our neighbor.
Shut up!
It's literally... Okay, we're in the garage right now doing this podcast. It is my neighbor that is right here, next door, literally.
They never liked you guys anyway, right?
It's not that they never liked us. They're always like, we're cordial. Like, it's fine.
Well, they yelled at us a couple of times.
We're burning things.
Okay.
We were burning things when we were little. But it was my next door neighbor. My dad's like, oh my God.
Holy shit.
It's the old man. And so he's like.
What's he doing driving?
I know. What is he doing driving?
Why is his family letting him drive?
He's like over 80. So I was like,
this is a predicament.
I was like, oh my God. And my dad's like, oh my God. And he was like, you could tell he was freaked out. Like, because can you imagine the cop shows up at your place?
Yeah.
And the cop was retelling us the story. Like, yeah, I showed up to this place, and he obviously, he had his wife with him.
What did his wife say?
A wife was just obviously on our side. She's like, "Aya."
Oh no.
They speak
Are
Chinese.
they Chinese.
They speak Chinese.
I didn't know they were Chinese.
I think they're Vietnamese Chinese, but they speak Chinese. But they speak Chinese.
Okay. That makes
and
sense.
so she's like, "Aya," and so
that sucks.
and he doesn't remember hitting my car. He just remember. I don't know.
Are you sure?
He just says he just remember going over the divider, but doesn't remember hitting my car. But he was saying this all in Chinese, and he was like freaking out. He was, I only know little bits of Chinese,
but
right?
Can you tell? When
But my dad,
lying.
He was just so. The thing is, like, I'm not sure it's also due to his age that he's a little like not, because he was kind of frantic and look, he's like, and he's having like a sad story, like, I don't get any sleep. He's saying this all in Chinese, like, I only have a few years left. I only have a few years left.
Oh my God.
He's like going the street trying to explain, like, in Chinese, and then the cop's like, please do not stand in the street. Can you come back to the sidewalk? And luckily, my dad was there to talk to him Chinese, kind of calm him down, because he was like,
your dad knows Mandarin and Cantonese, right?
Yes.
Wow.
So he was like freaky, but my dad was calming him down.
Oh, your dad's so nice.
My dad was just telling the wife, like, don't let him drive.
Yeah, he's gonna get his license revoked.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, like, if I didn't have the divider there, it would have been really bad.
And if it was any closer, you would have been smashed. Man.
Yes, I would definitely have. And so, what
kind of car was it? Was it a bigger mini SUV?
No, my car was his car is just a two-door a two-door compact car.
Okay.
Honda.
Okay.
So but still, I was just like, oh man, this guy. I was like, but it was my neighbor. I was like, plot twist.
It's not just like a couple houses
blocks
right here.
My neighbor. So I was like, oh,
we're like
my God.
5 or 10 feet away from him.
Yes.
Oh.
And so that's what happened. And then of course I told my sisters what happened.
Yeah.
What, dude? Like, I think I'm Donna, my sister. She's like, I think I'm mutual friends with. I have a mutual friend with his son.
Oh shit!
Maybe I should tell his son and contact him. Let him know that that his dad should not be driving.
Oh man!
So that could happen. She might be tattletaling on him, but I think he shouldn't be driving. Like,
no.
This guy should not be driving. So yeah,
dude.
So we're fine, and obviously I'm okay, and nobody got hurt. But that's
what's up with your insurance? Are they going to handle it? Because usually, okay.
Luckily, he also has AAA.
Okay, good.
So we both have AAA, so it makes it a lot easier, and so it's been pretty painless.
Okay.
So far, so yeah, it's been good, but it still sucks.
And this happened what day?
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, it's actually, you were texting me about
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. Or you were texting me about other stuff too. Yeah. It was like, yeah. But I think it was when you were texting me, and I was like, oh yeah, like, but I didn't want to like, hey, I'm in an accident right now. I can't. I was like, I'm fine. But I text you later.
That's
But I was
true,
like,
Debbie,
I'll tell Liz later.
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
podcast.
No. I'm glad we got like my reaction. Before
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
shit.
but yeah, we're
Debs.
fine, and it's okay.
I'm glad you guys are okay. Wait, so obviously the dentist appointment was canceled. You guys had to move it to another day.
Had to move to another day.
What a shock for your dad too. It's like,
yeah, my dad felt bad. My dad's like, oh no,
I know.
I shouldn't have let you drive. I'm like, I mean, either way it would happen, you know. So it's like, I mean, somehow, he would hit somebody.
Your
so.
beautiful car.
I know, my baby. So, but I'll get it by Christmas, hopefully. And yeah, that's what happened.
Oh
So that's what
God, Deb,
happened,
You're so
and,
nice about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, what else can you do, right? If you get
Yeah,
upset
yeah.
about it, you can't. You're like, when you're stressed, you can't do anything else, or you
like
can't concentrate on anything
being,
else.
Yeah, me being stressed,
Yeah.
me being angry, me being
Yeah.
like, how is that going to help the situation?
Yeah.
It really doesn't help the process. And I'm like, again, nobody's hurt. So,
Yeah.
so everyone's good. But yeah, I was just funny because I was like, I was telling my sisters, and my older
Yeah.
sister was like, I would have prosecuted his ass.
I know, she
prosecute
would.
his
But
ass.
I cannot see you, Debbie, doing that.
Because
Like
I was
prosecuting
like,
somebody.
yeah, I was just like, the cop was like, do you want me to go one step further and prosecute him?
Yeah.
It's like, and I look at my dad, and I'm like, no.
Did your dad look at you
They're
like, Debbie, what do you want to do?
yeah, what do you want to? But I look at my dad, I'm like, no, we don't want to. I don't want to prosecute him. Yeah, it's like
And it's your neighbor too. It would have been bad blood.
bad blood, totally.
Yeah.
So, and then like after I called my insurance and stuff like
Mhm.
that, later that night, we exchanged obviously contact information with each other, me and my neighbor and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's funny because like my phone rings later in the evening.
Mhm.
And it's, I'm over it, everything's fine. And I pick up, and it's my neighbor. And he's speaking in Chinese. And again, I don't understand Chinese.
Just little bits.
Little bits of it.
Here
But
and
he's
there.
like, whoa.
And he
And
kept on-
he's like just talking. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're saying. Like, and he says something like, oh, is your mom home or is your dad home? Like, oh, my dad's here.
Does he still think you're like 15 years old or something? Like,
well, also because
because
like,
of the
translation,
the
language.
barrier.
I'm like, yeah, and because my dad was there to translate, so
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and I gave my phone to my dad, and my dad's like, okay. My
What
dad's
did he
like,
say?
he's basically saying the same thing, like, oh, but this time he like apologized. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
I didn't realize I hit you. I'm really sorry. I'm just so I only have a few years left. My dad kept saying, like, he kept going back to that narrative.
Yeah.
I only have a few years left. Like,
It says a lot about a person if they keep on using that line.
like
It's
I'm not getting any sleep at night.
Then why are you driving, fool?
Then why are you driving? Exactly.
Like an
exactly.
idiot.
So, yeah, it's definitely should not be driving.
Idiot.
But yeah, it's again.
Debbie's alive.
I'm alive.
Debbie's alive.
I'm alive.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm gonna wait and tell Elizabeth about this.
No, I'm glad you did. It was quite adventurous. I was like, wait, what did happen? What happened to your car? I thought because like sometimes your car gets borrowed or so
No.
I was like, okay, maybe someone just took it. Maybe you let your older sister borrow it or something. I don't know.
No, got a little fender bender. But
do you have a name for your car?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Do you have a name for your car?
Yes, for both of them.
What's your name of your car?
Helga.
Helga.
Well, the old BMW X5, she was Helga, and then this is Helga too.
Helga too.
She's more sleek.
Helga
and
too.
then the other car, when we had an old BMW Ti, the hatchback, that was Duke. He was the cool guy, and now we have Duke too.
I see the trend here. There's number 2.
Yeah.
So Joseph's car is Duke 2.
Yeah.
And you're Helga 2.
I just call her Helga.
Oh, you just call it Helga.
Yeah. I don't know.
Helga, that's it.
But I name everything. I name my Roomba.
Oh.
Like Roomba's Chopper.
Oh, Chopper.
Yeah. It's from I know this is gonna be so geeky, but it's from this animated series. It's like a branch off of Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
And they do
okay.
like computer graphic animated style.
Oh, okay.
And one of the it kind of looks like R2D2, but he's like one of another version of R2D2.
Got
More
it.
clankier version.
Got it. Okay.
And he like makes
Chopper.
he makes a lot of mistakes. He kind of talks back to you and stuff like that. So yeah, our Roomba is Chopper, and it continues. Yes,
Do you're like, hey Chopper, or you just name them just to name them?
they like say their name.
Ah.
They say their name, so I'm like, oh, your name's Chopper. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you chose the name, so
Yes.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really personify or name my objects.
That's what I do. I personify a lot of things.
Is it just to have more of a connection with that object, or just?
Yeah, because I like thank them and stuff. Because what happened
Oh,
was,
you thank them?
yeah, because like Helga was an older car, the number one, the X5,
Mhm.
and there were so many times like she kept me safe. Like I don't know, it wasn't like it didn't have autonomous features like Helga number 2, which is the Tesla, right?
Mm.
But there were so many times like I could have gotten such a bad accident,
Yeah.
and it's just weird. Like once you name it, like I feel like it slightly has its own like little spirit to it. So I don't know. I know it's kind of weird.
No. People name their cars, name like things all the time. I just want to know the reasoning behind that. So.
Yeah. So I feel like when you're nicer to it, they like last longer. I don't know.
I see.
It's a possibility because like all of my things that I do name, they last longer. You know how when you get something and it just breaks within a year?
They used to have PT Cruiser. That car.
Oh, I didn't have a name for that one. That one did not have a soul.
That one not have a soul.
Yes.
Is it a PT Cruiser? That was called?
Yeah, it was a PT Cruiser.
Oh man.
It was cool when I first got it.
Yeah. What made you want to get that car?
I have no fucking idea. That's what happens when you give. How old was I? Like 18.
Okay.
That's what happens when you give an 18-year-old a choice.
A choice. Okay.
Like you pick stupid ideas.
Yeah.
But you know which car I really like? Your old Honda Civic.
Oh, the old one.
The old one. The first car you guys drove.
Oh, what's it like? I'm trying to think.
It was like was it a 90 or 81 Civic or 88 Civic?
I forget. I just remember we'd had Honda.
Remember that car where like your mom came to pick us up and then she like drove off without me?
Yes.
That car.
That car. Good memories.
Yeah, that one.
That one that drove off without you.
That one. You picture it now?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. And then you also had an Nissan
Xterra.
Xterra.
Celica.
We had a lot of ventures in that one.
Yes, Xterra.
Do you remember when we went to was it Yosemite? We took a trip up north to San Francisco and we stopped by Yosemite.
Yes, and it was dark and cold and we're trying to cook food in this rain.
Why'd you guys do that?
It was dark and there's moths or I don't know. It was hard.
One of the scariest moments in my life.
Yeah, scary. It was dark and scary, yes.
You guys wanted to just pull over in the dark and set up like a cooking, like, to cook.
Yeah, to cook.
Not just a hot dog. You guys wanted bacon around.
Yeah.
Like the smell, the aroma was just engulfing the whole area we were in. Can you imagine if a bear came?
That's true.
It was so dark you couldn't even see like 3 feet in front of you without a light.
We didn't even have the proper lights or anything. I don't even know. Did we even go camping? No, we didn't. We just drove through.
Yeah, we just drove through, which was amazing. Like I loved Yosemite. It was really magical.
I don't know why we had to stop and
you guys were so like that hungry. I was like, I'm not that hungry. You guys said you must eat.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, you guys, how scared was I? I was so scared. Okay, have you ever watched Disney's Ichabod Crane?
Yes.
The Headless Horseman?
Oh, yeah.
And the skinny, like the main character. He was like the skinny, tall guy.
Yes.
And he was scared and he would like shake.
Yes.
That's how scared I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But you guys were like, hot dog with bacon.
bacon hot dog,
Bacon hot dog. And I was like, oh, you guys are so fucking crazy. I was so scared. I thought for sure we were going to get eaten by bears that night.
But we didn't.
We didn't, but it was so scary. You were like, Liz, go get the whatever from the car. And I was like, no, don't make me do it.
This is when you're like afraid of everything too.
I was afraid of everything. Well, especially the dark.
Yes,
The dark, because
yeah.
my imagination would go wild, hence the bears and everything.
Yeah.
Just, and then also what was going through my head was like newspaper headlines like, oh, young teenage girls, were found.
My ex was there. Willie was there.
Oh my
My
God.
ex was there.
The biggest baby in the world.
He's the wall. I mean, he's not gonna protect us. That's for sure.
No, he would just he'd probably run to the car, close all the doors, lock it, like while we're being eaten.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would see, like headlines of news, like, oh, like 4 teenage kids from Orange County found dead, eaten by bears.
Eating my bears. Oh man, that was that was not the brightest idea, but memories.
Memories. But I do remember there was a reward at the end, like when we're driving down from Yosemite to go towards San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
The stars were amazing.
I still remember that moment. I still remember.
Do you?
I still remember like us looking at the sky.
And
it was
we
just
were
so
listening
great.
to Billie Holiday.
Oh, I don't know. I'm probably
was-
if Donna was driving, yes, probably
Yeah.
yes.
But weren't those stars like magnificent?
Oh, especially when you're up in the mountains, there's no light pollution, and it's just
Ugh.
pure darkness. So you could really see the stars, and it's just beautiful. I love it. I love it.
That was amazing. And of course, like Donna didn't get to see it because we got to stick our heads out the window
Mm-hmm.
and then just like look up.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
It reminds me of like science camp when we
Yeah.
and we did like the science camp and outdoor science camp, and we just all went together. That was fun. That was a good time too. Like just us young and away from our parents, and sleeping in bunk beds and looking at the stars, and we would eat the lifesavers, like the mint one, and then you chew on it and it like lights up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I never had that.
Oh my gosh, maybe. Yeah, it's a certain lifesaver, and you chew it in the pitch black, and it's just like I don't know
Whoa.
what it does, but it's something in
Something
the
ignites.
something
chemical
it's almost-
reaction.
some reaction, and just like lights up in your mouth.
Is that how they market it? As in like
They didn't mark it that way. Someone
so
someone just figured it out.
Well,
and then we
science camp.
science camp,
So
and we just
someone was
like,
like-
and we're all chewing on the mint in the dark, and I just remembered those moments and stuff. So, but I just remember also just looking up at the sky and looking at all the stars and everything.
Where was your science camp at?
It was weren't we all at the same science camp?
Oh, you mean 8th grade? I met you in 6th grade, Debbie.
Yeah. Oh no, this was the 5th. I think this.
Yeah,
was,
this is an elementary you're
This is
talking about. But we did have an awesome time in 8th grade camp
We had another
with
camp.
Rosie. Remember Rosie? She was
Yes, I could have sworn it was. Did we go to? I guess maybe we went to science
No,
camp
I don't
twice.
remember Lifesavers. That's
Okay, maybe not.
but
okay.
sounds fun.
Okay,
Sounds
but
like a
we
really
did go to
nice-
science camp later though in 8th grade.
What was that science camp? I thought it was like just 8th grade camp.
Oh, it could be.
Like end of like our graduation. camp,
Oh, could be. It could be.
which was awesome. It was like one of those like those that winning moment. You know what I mean? Because we had the bully.
Oh, yes.
There was that bully, and she was like, "I'm gonna have like the best group." She's like,
Oh,
'cause,
yes.
you would have to name like a certain number of people in your group.
Yes. I
And
remember
she
that.
was-
She made that a huge
She
ordeal.
just like wanted the best people in her group, and we were just like, we just want to have fun. Who cares? And we got paired with the best camp counselor.
the
She
best
made
cancer.
everything so magical. Her name was Rosie from Australia.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
She
god, I can't
was-
even remember her name, but she was amazing.
Amazing.
And our group, like, even though we weren't the cool group that was
we
with
had
the bully,
so much fun.
I remember the bully. She was crying at the camp
Yes.
because her camp counselor wasn't as cool.
Cry, bitch, cry.
Cry. And she was just like, meh. She was like,
Why
why
did they get to have so much fun?
is our
like-
camp counselor just doing? And I'm like, whatever. Like, ours was just awesome. She
The
was so cool.
universe was looking out for us.
Yeah.
Had
Oh my
such a
gosh.
memorable time.
Such a good time. Yeah, that was like again one of those memorable moments in my childhood. It was just playing in the snow and everything.
Yeah, it was really like fun.
Yes.
And it felt like, I don't know, we were only there for a week, right?
Gosh, were we just there for a week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure only a week.
And it felt so tight. Like, just, Rosie felt like an older sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like that really sweet older sister.
She had an
and-
accent, right?
Yeah, she's Australian.
Yes,
And I felt kind of bad because I did have her address when we left. We shared like because we wanted to be pen pals and stuff. But
Oh.
I lost it. But she was really fun. Red hair. I loved her red hair.
Oh, yes.
Short red hair. She was very, what's the word? Animated, and she kind of almost like reminded me of, what can I say? Like a kind of a more fun Mary Poppins.
I'm more of Mary Poppins, yes.
She was
She's
awesome.
Yeah, it's so nice to have those people that they're older than you, and you just remember what an impact they leave behind on you.
She's definitely made a huge impact on me. You know, just I really appreciate her.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, okay. Well, didn't we wanted to talk about habits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's this book that I came across.
How'd you
Look,
come across it?
I came across because I'm always wondering, like, I don't know. I hate saying self-help books.
Oh,
but,
why are
I
you
mean,
saying so? Self-help is awesome.
But you know how some people are like, "Ooh, I don't do self-help books." But like, I always like to improve, like ways to improve yourself,
Yeah.
ways to better yourself. So I'm always like, oh, like I always like look up like what's the latest book on that's doing that people like.
Mhm.
And so I came across this title called Atomic Habits, and it's by
John Clear.
John Clear.
Yeah, we can link it on the bottom in the description.
And I mean, I'm a little less than halfway through the book, and it's
James Clear, sorry.
James Clear, and it's good. It's like it's very applicable things you can do. But like you've been listening to it through audio.
Yeah, so I'm listening to the audio like while I'm driving and stuff, doing work, and I'm about 71% through, and I think it does share a lot of really wonderful perspectives, different degrees of perspectives on why this would work. He illustrates with stories and real life stories on how people put these strategies to use and how they were to be successful with these, and which was really nice. And I love all of the strategies, and also like he goes over certain strategies, and it kind of like it proves to me that what I've been doing is the right way.
Like give me an example of what. Like, oh, I do that, and you're like that.
What's one that I do already? Oh, okay. Meshing your wants and your needs together. Like,
yeah, he keeps reiterating that.
You do a bundle of things. So it's like multitasking. So let's say you want to watch TV, but you need to work out. So what I would do is I would put my show on or put on my favorite podcast and go running. So it's like you get entertainment, but at the same time, it's helping you motivate you to do something that you need to do. So he's just like, pack them all in.
Yes.
Figure out ways to do these combinations where you can get work done, but at the same time, enjoy it.
Exactly. I think he keeps on reiterating also to like just to pair something and to make it more attractive, a habit that is a hard habit, but to make it more attractive, like pair it with something that you already do that you enjoy doing, and like you say, bundle them together, Or he was also saying, like, to also instill, like, cues beforehand, before you do something that
You don't want to do.
you don't want to do, but also stuff that you do like to do. Like, let's say petting my cat really brings me comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before I pet my cat, I can breathe in 3 times and smile, they
Yeah.
say. Like, let's say that's what you do before you pet your cat. So I breathe in 3 times, smile, pet my cat. Breathe in 3 times, pet my cat. And I keep doing this to the point where me just breathing 3 times and smiling already brings me comfort, because I associate that with petting with my cat. So when I do get stressed out, like let's say I'm at work or I'm in a stressful situation, I breathe 3 times and I smile. And all of a sudden my brain already associates that with, oh, she's about to pet her cat, or that endorphins already comes in, and that predictability that prediction is what brings you comfort, and also that cue is what instills that calms your nerves. So just to associate it with a act that already brings you comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just trying to break that down too, and I thought that was really again, it made sense. Like you said, he used everything he talks about, he backs it up with a story or something. And one thing he also said was really important throughout the book is the environment you're in.
Yeah. The environment, the people you hang out with, it all...
Proximity.
Yeah, it all affects you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that also made things clear for me, is that, like, bam, like, that's what I am doing. Like, I did have a lot of different people around me, and I used to hang out in their environment. But slowly I would, of course I love hanging out with people, but the thing is, like, if it's negatively affecting me, like it really, he just showed that, he proved that it does really affect you. The people you hang out with, the environments you're in, it really does affect, what you're doing in your life and how you're doing things in your life. And
because when you see what's around you and you want to belong, you want to participate in that environment, because you're in that environment.
Yeah.
And if it's a negative environment, you see your friends smoking and you're the only one not smoking, let's say, you're like, hey Debbie, do you want? I'm like, yeah, sure. You're the only one not doing. You feel that pressure to do it.
Yeah, because you want to fit in.
You want to fit in. You want to fit in. So by changing your environment to a more positive environment, more positive people, or people like-minded like you that you want to be similar with, or associate yourself with, that bring in good habits, it's good to just again associate yourself with those people and surround yourself with that environment and people, and make the habit as attractive as possible, they say, and make it easy, so let's say you want to practice your ukulele and you haven't been practicing because it's tucked away in your closet. Have it by your have it hang by your couch where you always sit, and you're like, oh, I can practice a few minutes out of the day. So I bought a ukulele, by the way. I'm waiting.
Oh, you did?
Yes, Liz let me borrow her ukulele, and I was like, oh, I like this. Like, it's just so soothing and relaxing, and it's just fun, and
it's smaller and lighter than a guitar.
It challenges me, so I'm like, okay. I'm gonna get one of these guys. So it's coming out on Saturday. So
that's awesome. Is it a new one?
It's a new one.
Vintage?
It's not vintage.
Oh.
It's not vintage, but yeah, I was like, oh, okay, like,
that's cool.
so yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Maybe me and Liz can bust a little ukulele. Liz is actually really good. I think she's really great on the ukulele. But Liz is like, oh yeah, Debbie, you could just start practicing, and she starts playing, and I'm like, damn, Liz, like, you're really good.
I think it's really fun. I think, I don't think a lot of teachers or parents kind of make that link for kids when they're telling them, oh, you should play an instrument. But why? They never back it up with any, like, scientific information, or they just say, play it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Tell me why it would be beneficial to me. But really, it truly is another way for you to to express yourself.
Totally.
It's another language. It's like maybe when you're feeling a certain way and you just can't get it out in words, playing an instrument expresses that feeling that you can't say with words or with your facial expressions or whatever. You definitely go into this meditative zone.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And the tones, I've actually done a lot of research on these certain kind of tones that we hear from like, piano and violin and the ukulele. There's certain frequencies that when your ears hear it hits it does like brain. It hits like a brain part of your brain that relaxes you, and it's actually been some of these chords and stuff have been hidden by the church. Like back in the day, only certain people were allowed to play these chords because it has so much power to it. All these sounds that makes you feel euphoric, like you're almost on drugs. But you're not on drugs.
So wait, the church would hide it?
Yeah, in history.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So only the church, only certain people were allowed to play this because it does have a very hypnotic, euphoric feel that can bring out from the human mind.
Kind of reminds you like the lyrics of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen.
There you go. Like
Heard there was a secret chord.
It's all true. It's called one of them is called solfeggio. There's all these different frequencies like 417, 3. Like there's certain chords that just make you feel that way.
Yeah, no, I totally believe it. That music and it just the tones and everything is just universally pleasing to like for the human ear to hear. And people have found those notes and found those chords and found those what's the word, patterns that people just are drawn to every time. So it's that's awesome. That's really cool.
Even it's crazy because there is math involved in music, which is super trippy. Music and mathematics is actually very entwined. There's a lot of patterns, like you say, but also when you're playing chords, there's also patterns and there's frequencies. It's a long range of numbers. It goes from 0 hertz all the way to like 20,000 hertz or something, 12,000 hertz. So you have a line of numbers. And all the numbers that feel good and stuff, they like all match up in some way. So it's really trippy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's been really cool for whoever like discovered that pattern and like discovered that relationship and like, whoa, like there's something here that's like that, they all have some similarity, something that they all share in common. And I think music is just, again, unleashes, like you said, you can express yourself if you are missing the words, but like music just somehow just fills in that void. Yeah.
And what's even trippier, because I go down the rabbit hole, and I did this one class. I didn't finish it, but there's this one class. It was about astronomy. And it was, and I'm coming from like, I like making electronic dance music and stuff like that. So, I just took this class and it would really trip me out because, you're connecting what you know with what you're learning. And what was crazy is that planets, they each have a unique sound that they emit.
I think I heard of that.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because it sounds like ambient music. So there's a connection, like the frequencies. Why do we like ambient music? It's because it has that slight rumble or that sound that gets naturally emitted from planets and stuff. Even the forest, when you go into a forest, there's a reason why you like it, because it emits a certain frequency, and it's called Schumann's resonance. It's a very low hum. I think it's like 7 point something hertz. And this one scientist in the 70s, he did like a study, and he got all this money to do this research. And so what they did is they dug a bunker deep into the ground, a cement bunker. And then they would have these students that would volunteer from the university, and they would put these test subjects in there. They would volunteer. And it's concrete, so they're not getting any light. They're not getting any kind of like any other sounds. They're just underground. And they started to get sick because they're just isolated in this bunker. And what he did was he had this recording of that same frequency you would get from the forest, Schumann's resonance. He would turn that on, and all of a sudden the test subjects, they would feel better. So yeah, you guys can actually listen to it on YouTube. You can just put in Schumann's resonance, and people have like all sorts of different varieties of them. So it's really helpful for your brain and stuff.
This is strictly from like the forest nature, or
yeah, it's the same frequency, but it's you can also imitate it.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's taking that same frequency and imitating what frequency you're getting from the forest.
Got it.
It's not going to be the same, but it helps.
Yes.
Especially when you don't get to go to the forest often or whatever.
Yeah, or just nature in general.
Yeah, like I try to listen to it every so often.
That's nice.
It helps with brain function and focus and reduce anxiety and stuff like that. So
yeah, I always wonder, because when you are not just visually in that environment, in nature, in the forest and in the mountains, but I can imagine now I think about it, like even the sounds, like sonically, like you're hearing these, like you said, these like frequencies that you don't even realize that you're taking in as well, absorbing as well, not just visually, but also through your hearing. And that also is very healing. And it just, yeah, I never thought about it that way, but like, I mean, I hear birds and stuff like that, but just imagine this certain frequency that it's emitting that is also healing and making me feel calm and everything. That's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely love going through this, because especially like that's what mainly I want to do is music in my life, and I want to understand the ins and outs of everything. Like what if this makes you feel good? Why does it make you feel good? And what can history tell me about it? Like even saying why do we say Om? When you do that, why do you chant that when you're meditating? Why is that? Like for thousands of years, they've been doing that, in rituals and stuff, because it vibrates the inside of your body in a certain way. So it is like, there's even more crazy, like mystical shit that goes into it, because music is magical.
Yeah,
it is. It's something you can't see, but it can move you in so many and actually can elevate you, and also it can enhance you. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very true. And I mean, it's kind of sad at the moment, but like there's no really concerts going on or festivals going on because of COVID. But pre-COVID times, when you were seeing people at music festivals and concerts, just to see the crowd of people just hypnotized and like under this spell of the musician, of the DJ or whoever's performing, and they just, whether they know the words to the song or not, they're just entranced with the music, and they're dancing, and it really is hypnotic. It really is mystical and magical. You're just like, these people are feeling the music, and quite literally, they can feel it, and it's transcendent. Like it just feels out of this world.
Yeah, like the DJ or whoever is making the music, they are conducting the crowd. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they know what sounds they need to play to make the crowd seem calm, and then pick up the energy again. Like, how do they know how to pick up the energy and then bring it down again?
Yes.
It's just like a continuation of up and down, like waves of energy, like, you know, high energy and then bring it down, and high energy and bring it down. It's like just like a story. You have your intro and then your peak point, and then you just bring it back down. So it's like also in that way, there's a universal pattern there too. Storytelling.
Yeah,
You know,
through
music, you know.
Yeah, it's like you said, nothing like having this song that has the intro, the climax, and the outro, and it's just this satisfying journey that you go on with the musician, with the artist, and all in this space, you know. But you're mimicking the sounds, and even though your environment is exactly the same, but you know, visually it looks everything the same, but as soon as you play this music and the sound, like, it takes you somewhere else.
Yeah, you could change the whole atmosphere of a space just like that. You know, which is really perplexing sometimes. You know, you can really, like, let's say for film, okay, you put a moody track. Like, okay, say you're doing one scene, right? But if you put happy track, it kind of seems like happier.
Oh my gosh, it changes.
You know, and then but then you can also put a sad track or a moody track, and it totally changes it.
It totally changes the
whole
entire
story,
tone, everything. It's so funny. I love this. Kind of reminds me of people cut movie trailers to movies that you already know are familiar with, but they make it scary. So it's like, so they'll be like Love Actually, like the holiday movie, and then it's like, but it's haunting, scary, like soundtrack in the background. You're like, oh my god, this is like, someone's gonna die. As an audience, you're already like, you're uneasy. Music can make you, by hearing the music, even visually, even though it kind of doesn't match, you're just like, somehow the music already makes you predict something's gonna happen. You're like, oh my god, something bad is gonna happen. Because
they're raising, the composer is knowing how to raise your anxiety, which is, let me get to another point, is that as much good sound can be used for, it can also be used to be hurtful. And I don't know about you, if you know, there has been like military weapons made out just from sound.
Yes, that's what I heard.
From sound. The power of sound it's you can manipulate it. It's a double-edged sword. You know, you can use it for good and you can use it for bad. And it's kind of crazy because I was watching History Channel, and you know that story in the Bible, and it said they all blew horns and the walls crumbled. And you're just like, as a kid, because you don't know anything and you don't know the science of sound and what's the whole the power behind it, you know, it's unfathomable. But then after like reading so many articles and so many like interesting like coverages on certain subjects about music, you're just like, fuck, that can be real. Like, if you got to a certain frequency, it could make that wall break. Like, you know, certain singers, they can make a glass break. Right? So really the vibration of things. So that really piqued my interest. Not because I want to break things. It's just telling me to be cautious, because whatever I'm creating can be amplified and can be used in certain ways. So like, it also helps you as a musician to be a little be conscious. I mean, like, be aware of how you're manipulating these sounds and stuff.
Because like you said, it can be used for good or bad, and I've seen it used both ways and stuff. So I mean, if you're gonna create something, it's like, with great power comes great responsibility. So
what song did they say? They said in Guantanamo Bay, they played this one metal track like constantly to make the prisoners go crazy.
Why would they want to make the
to
prison?
torture them.
Oh.
Guantanamo Bay is like a torture prison,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like, so like they would play one track continuously. It was like a really, I'm not saying metal's evil. I'm not saying,
no.
but like your ear can only take so much. Like I think I told
Mm-hmm.
you that you need to take breaks from listening to things
Mm-hmm.
like every 30 minutes or something. You shouldn't play loud music in your ears because you don't want to disturb your eardrums. You don't want to destroy them, which a lot of musicians and DJs are known to get tinnitus and stuff, which is you know, you're rupturing your eardrums and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like sound is, you're right, can be amazing, and then it can also be deadly too.
Yeah.
Make you go crazy.
Yeah. I still remember you telling me that, like, you know, because you are interested in music and everything like that, you want to create things that are make people feel good. Like that is your that's your goal, is to put out music that people, it's just feel good music, and it's just positive things out there.
Yeah. Like, of course, you can't have, you want the contrast. Just like in any good movie or good art, there's contrast of certain things. But I just love, like, do you remember when we used to listen to Telepop?
Yeah.
Just Breathe?
Yes.
It was euphoric.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
It was like, when you hear that, it's kind of, for me, it felt like an outer body experience. Like, it just made me want to, like, float. Right?
Such a good song.
Such a good song. If you guys never heard of that song, check it out. It's Telepop. Telepop, Just Breathe.
Yeah. That's
Such a good track.
so good. I mean, talk about, just a euphoric song. Like, that is, I feel like the epitome and, like, the prime example of just a feel-good. Doesn't matter where you at in life. It's beautiful. It's just, you're stress-free. It's just, you really, I mean, you couldn't have a better title. It's just like, you know, just breathing. And something about that, it's just, it's such a, the lyrics is just simple. It's just,
it's universal. What it is and also what I've noticed, yes, there are a lot of amazing music that are timeless when they have, you know, a chorus, verses, and all that stuff. But I also noticed that a lot of tracks stay modern. If the hook is shorter, the shorter the better, because then it's kind of timeless.
Yeah, you're right. It's
because you play that now and you think that it fits now.
Yes.
You can't really tell, like, when it was made. You can't say, oh, it was made in early 2000s, you know? It kind of sounds like you could play it now in a cafe and it's like, it sounds still with the times.
Yeah, it's funny when you hear, like, rap songs and sometimes the lyrics are a little outdated, like my BlackBerry. They rap about, like, AOL.
So, which is also good in its own way, because it's like it puts a time, like a place in the timeline.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
it makes it's nostalgic for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but again, people later, younger generation, they're like, what? Like, what?
BlackBerry? What the fuck is BlackBerry?
I think that brand is still alive, right? They're just not as popular.
I think they're into something else.
They're
like, they
doing
don't.
something
Yeah,
else.
they're probably
specializing
doing
in
that.
other things.
But do you know that Ludacris's Fantasy track is a classic now?
Oh,
Remember?
you mean just like it's a I mean,
wanna lick you from your head to your toes.
Yeah.
I heard that. I was picking up from a family restaurant called Stonefire Grill.
Yeah.
They were playing that, and I was like, wait. I was like,
Playing Ludacris Fantasy.
why are they playing Ludacris Fantasy? I was like, holy shit! Is it a classic now? It's a classic. You know, like.
Here on KF 101. Like,
yeah,
classic.
when we're old, when we're like 80, like, hey guys, you know what was a classic from when we were like, you know, from middle school.
Back in my days.
It's called Fantasy. And it talks about licking you up and down, up your body, and doing it in certain places,
Oh
you know.
my gosh. it's funny when you're young and you listen to these lyrics and you're just so innocent at that point. I didn't know like what certain songs were at the moment, what they meant. Like Next, Too Close,
so good.
Too Close by Next, and it's just a guy singing about his boner. It's just a man singing about his boner the whole time.
But
you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
But you know what the honey is? The honey of that track is? It's the supporting sounds in the background. You know how it's like smooth and it's kind of sexy and fun?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what the churches didn't want you to have, like these other artists to have, because they know that they can like charm people with those sounds. Yeah, and you can put any lyric on top of it. Yeah, so that's what the church didn't like. Using it for, they're like, we have to keep this a secret, a secret. You know, but isn't it trippy? Yeah. When you see in that perspective. But I love that track. And actually I was listening to if you guys are producers and you guys want a good producer, it's called something production. I'll link it. But they were naming the least remembered tracks from that time, like early 2000s. And Next was one of them. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. What Next? I was like, I still remember them.
No, I still remember them.
And you do too.
Someone got that list wrong.
Yeah. I was like, this is the least. There's no way.
That particular song.
Yeah, that particular song.
Was the least remembered?
Yeah, it was like number 5 or something. And they're like, Next. Too Close. And it's these two British guys. Yeah, but they were looking at not their list. It was like a poll.
Oh, got it.
Oh, what it was a poll, it was about, people that were born in 1992, 1993. Got it. So maybe like 4 or 5 years younger than us.
Got it. Okay.
It's like for that age group that they wouldn't remember any of that. But that was such a good track. Well, also check that out. Next, Too Close.
Yeah, that's
so good.
So good. I mean, it's a good song, but
it's about a boner.
But it's not appropriate for when we were in middle school. Was it middle school or what? It was a middle school, I think.
Yeah, it was in middle school.
I remember in the school dance, like, feel a little poke coming through. We literally thought it was a poke, like just like a poke.
No, it's a boner.
It's a poke. That's that kind of poke, you know. And we're like, whoa.
It's a happy poker.
My childhood just.
When did you find out that he was talking about his dick?
I mean, a couple years later, I think I finally was like listened to it. I'm like,
you just put one and one together.
Yeah, I was like, my God.
No one say, "Hey, Debbie, you know what he's talking about?"
Nobody sat down and talked to me about it. But I was like, this just came as a slow realization when I heard the song again. I'm like, feel a little poke coming. Oh my God! I was like, what? This song is just whoa.
But it's not a big deal anymore because you got WAP now.
Oh yeah, I got WAP. Yeah.
Wet ass pussy.
Yeah.
Wet ass pussy.
Nothing obscure about that. It's very direct. But
there's some loose woman in this house.
I respect that.
I was like, wow, like they made that commercially like acceptable. That's pretty crazy. It's just like, who cares about fantasy? Who cares about Too Close? That stuff is like PG now.
That stuff is PG, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. I'm all for it though. I'm all for the WAP. Like it's great. Like it's just a sound and it's just a woman that's just kind of like in control of her body and just
who cares if she's nasty? If she wants to be nasty, why are we gonna shun her? You know what I mean?
So, was it?
Which I think is pretty cool because she comes from a stripper background.
Yes.
So I like that she's putting it out there. A lot of people will be like, "Oh my gosh, she's being so like inappropriate," but like. It's a song. You can turn it off if you want. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, you don't need to write her, "Oh my God, I think this is offensive because you say the P word and you talk about loose women." Well, I'm sorry, but you don't live in like a G-rated world. No. There's all kinds of ins and outs, crevices, different worlds within a world.
Totally. No, it's just she's a woman. This is how she expresses herself, and it's her sexuality, and it's like props to her. There's no shame in that. I think it's awesome. It's just there's so much confidence that she exudes and everything.
And artistically, she made it work. I mean, like, how hard was it for a woman to say those lyrics? You know what I mean? It would be, there's no possible way back in the day.
Yeah.
No way. Like, even the voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Yeah.
That was even risque back then. Like, you know?
Yeah.
In the 70s, was it?
Wait. Oh, you mean like the original?
Yeah, the original
track?
was like in the 70s or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the original track.
So, and then they did a remake like in the 2005 or something. Missy Elliott and like Christina Aguilera and Lil' Kim, they did a remake of it. But like in the 70s, you know, being risque like that?
Yeah. Never in my words. No, it's but yeah, music has come a long way, and I think women have come a long way to just express themselves in that way.
Yeah, it's just like breaking out.
Yeah.
Which I love because I hate it when people are like, oh, you might want to cover up a little bit more. Or like, you shouldn't say things like that. Like, ugh.
Oh my gosh.
Please don't tell me what to say.
I remember it was years ago, but I don't know, when you just did that, it just reminded me of when I was at a gas station. I went to a mini mart, and I just wanted to pick up something really quick, and the guy's like, oh, and he like reached over and adjusted my my tank or something like that. He's like, you know, you should like basically like telling me like you should cover up more or something like that.
Well, I got something to say for you, buddy. Fuck you.
I was like appalled that he like reached over.
I'll be like, do not touch me. I didn't say you can touch me.
I know. I was like, I was just like, I just want to go. Like this, I never want to come back here again.
That's one of the moments. Like I love that it happens to me, and then the next time it happens to me, like I know exactly what I want to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're caught off guard.
Yes.
It happened all too quick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've had that said to me so many times by like my aunt.
Ugh.
Like I'm like from wearing a long sleeve and like pants that covered my whole body, and they were like, I feel like you're dressing too well. Shit, coming from a woman that was wearing, like, let me show you a picture of what you were wearing when you were my age, okay? Let me get you this. So I find out my mom tells me that she actually went on a secret trip with her friends when she was young, when she was like 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she was going to go and study at a friend's house.
Uh-huh.
Instead, went to her aunt's house, asked for some money,
Uh-huh.
and she went on a trip. And I was like, oh, Mom. Oh, so I'm not the black sheep. Okay, so you guys were doing shit like that too. And I also found out, and this was a crazier trip because she went on a boat.
Oh.
With just a few of her friends.
Damn.
They went on a different island off the coast of Korea.
Oh, wow.
And like stayed in like a creepy like bed and breakfast place. I mean, not even breakfast, you know? It was just like a place to just rest.
Yes.
Like one of those old school Korean country houses.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh, so the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, does it? No. I was like, wow, Mom. Are you proud of yourself now? You know, it used to make me feel really shitty, but I was just being your daughter.
Yeah.
And I found out also my aunt that always, you know, told me I was being too wild or yelling at me for misbehaving. I found out she ran away from home.
Oh.
Yeah, while she was in high school, she ran away from home and ran off with her friends.
Oh.
Isn't that huge?
Oh
I was
my
just
gosh.
like, what the fuck?
And so they have all these things to say about your life and everything, but really they themselves have done some fucked up stuff too.
Yeah. Definitely. It's so crazy. You know what I mean?
Hypocrites.
So hypocritical. But you know what? I'm glad that I'm old enough, and it's nice to hear these stories.
Yes.
Just knowing that, like, hey, I'm not like the weird one.
Yeah, the only yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
They're just being hypocritical. But I appreciated my mom telling me those stories. I was just like, thanks, Mom, but like, thanks for the ammunition.
Oh man. Yeah, your mom, I mean, it sounds like your mom was she's a party girl.
And we got thousands and thousands upon thousands of photos to prove it. Like, so many photos. But was your mom, like, she seemed very, like, adventurous? I mean, like, how did she even come to America? And your mom met him here while going to school?
Going to school. Yeah.
Which school did she go to?
Kentucky. University in Kentucky or something.
Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky. That's
how did she like being in Kentucky back then? Was it difficult?
I mean, she never told me. I never asked her in detail, but she told me.
Was there prejudice? Prejudice?
I don't know. I think my grandpa, which is her dad.
Yeah.
The reason why he sent her to Kentucky was he wanted to send her away from all the boys.
Oh.
He thought, like, from the boys in Hong Kong, he thought that sending some Kentucky somewhere, she would just go to school and then come back and work for him and like everything. Because she was my grandpa's favorite.
Really? Okay, and she's the youngest?
She's not the youngest.
She's not. She's middle child?
Third. That's my older.
She has some older brothers.
No, she has. I think he's younger.
They're younger.
Yeah, he's the youngest. Okay. I think he's the youngest, and then my aunt, and then she's.
And
like
then you have your auntie in the UK. She older?
But she's not. That's not her sister though.
Oh, cousin?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
It's a big family.
Yes, it is. But I mean, her siblings. She just has one brother and two sisters.
Okay. So she has two older sisters.
One older sister.
One older. Okay.
I think, and I want to say she's the second oldest. And but yeah, she was the favorite, and then she was not because she fell in love with my dad, and my dad
not a bad guy,
not a bad man,
not a bad man at all.
But my grandpa was not happy. He expected her to come back to Hong Kong and help with the business or whatever, and
be
just
celibate for life.
Yeah, or just marry someone that already has someone set up that had money. They already had money and everything, wealth. But my mom was like, I'm in love with this poor guy.
Yeah.
My dad had no money, but he's, he wants to be an engineer and stuff like that, and he works really hard. And he didn't even have a car. Like, his car broke down. My mom gave him money to buy a new car, an old car, but buy a car nonetheless. And my mom took care of my dad, during the time. And so, yeah, my dad was really worried that if my mom left, she would never come back. But she did. She did.
Came back?
Yeah. Can you imagine, though? I can imagine the family, like, stopping her, like, no, don't go back.
Yeah,
but she came back and she married my dad. And, wow. But then my grandpa, like, I don't want to say disowned her, but definitely was not happy. And she was not his favorite anymore.
Yeah.
But my dad is just an amazing person. And I love my dad. And I think my life would have been, I wouldn't exist, first of all. But if I were
you would be a different version of you. That's what I always say.
Yeah, it's true.
You would probably exist, but a different version of you. You wouldn't have your dad's side.
I can't imagine, like, living in Hong Kong. It's a different life.
Yeah.
Just living in an apartment, living in, like, whatever, I don't know. It just would be different as opposed to, Hong Kong is just this busy city and it's kind of cramped and everything. And nothing, but it's also beautiful in its own way, too, as a city, and everything has other places beautiful. But, I'm just so used to my life growing up in Orange County and having that suburbs life and having the childhood I did, like running in the streets with my friends, like, just barefoot and playing in the park.
Do you think you would have a way more strict life if you lived in Hong Kong if you grew up? If
Oh
you were
yeah,
born
I
and
think it'd
raised
be
in Hong Kong?
definitely. It would be different. It would just be a city kid. I don't know. It would definitely be different. So yeah, I'm happy with my life here and just how things worked out. So, but yeah, just to see that that my mom chose to be my dad. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that is. It's kind of like she left, you know, the, supporting financial life,
Yeah,
and she took that leap,
yeah,
you
just to
know,
be my dad.
for love, you know.
Yep.
And in return, your dad took care
Oh yeah,
of your
it's taking care.
mom.
Yeah. He's totally fine, and he got a good government job, and
Yeah.
now they're both retired, and yeah, they're having a good time and playing mahjong and just doing their thing.
Taking life like at a slower pace.
At a slow
right?
pace, for sure.
Was it true that you were supposed to be triplets?
Ooh.
Because I remember when you used to tell me that you guys have a locked up third triplet sister she was like chained up in your parents' attic.
Oh, we said that?
Yes.
Oh, my bad.
And then you guys took me up there.
No.
Which is, I was really shocked at the amount of space you guys have in that closet.
Yeah, there's a lot of space.
Really shocking.
It is, yeah. No, you know what? That's a good question. I don't think we were ever supposed to
So
be
it was just
triplets.
twins.
It was just twins. Yeah.
Okay.
It was just twins, I'm pretty sure. That's so funny that we said that to you, though.
Oh my God. It was such a scary story. I was like, what?
What?
And this is like 6th grade. So, of course, I'm like so gullible because, I was raised up on like Disney Channel.
Yes.
And like everything's sunshine and butterflies. And like, of course, family life wasn't perfect. So like when a kid's not in a good environment, they kind of go deeper into their imagination, to escape.
Yeah.
So my imagination was even more vivid.
Yeah.
So when you guys told me that you guys had a locked up sister up in the attic, like I believed it.
Wholeheartedly.
How scary is that, though?
Yeah. Oh. Why do you know why? Why would we say that to you?
Because we used to fuck around all the
Because
time.
like just fuck with you, just like
Yeah.
you know what? Let's just fuck with Liz today and just say we have a third triplet just in the attic.
It's for the laughs.
For
For the laughs.
Trying to think. Oh yeah, we were talking about Atomic Habits, but it's
Oh yeah, so you guys can check it out. I think it's really helpful. We both think it's helpful. Especially I really, really want to get a handle on time management and because my life is so hectic. I mean, I need to find a way to make it all work, family life, work life, also pursuing, my dream work too. So you have to condense all that, but like, how do you make it work? How do you juggle that so that everything works? And so this, among a lot of other, I'm not saying this book will fix everything for you because it's an ongoing journey. Like there is no embarrassment to use self-help, products. You have to, like, there's this one quote, like everything is interconnected. You have to see it though. So therefore you have to look over a wide range of information and people's research and stuff. And you need to put it all together and make it somehow work for you.
Yeah, just cater it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like just try it out. Like you might like the book, you might hate it, but just we both thought so far, like at least for me, I think it's a great book. And I don't know, wherever you prefer listening to it or reading it, it's your call. But yeah, it's just a way to always, I feel like it's always good to improve yourself.
Yeah.
Like every day, try to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday.
And I love what they put on the front. It's on the front cover. It says tiny changes, remarkable results.
Yeah.
And it actually starts with a very dramatic intro.
Hmm.
You know, him with his injury.
Oh yes, yes.
You know, and him, it's kind of, it's life altering injury. So I'm not gonna, you know, spoil it for you guys,
anything,
but you guys check it out. You know, you don't have to apply everything. I think
Yeah.
that's what people don't like to read these self-help stuff, because they have this pressure. Well, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Before, that I need to do everything exact, and that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can take a little bit here and there, what works for you, try it out, and
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, if it sticks with you, it sticks with you. If not, just let it go. Just let it go
Yeah.
and move on.
Yes. Again, see what works for you, and what doesn't. And so, yeah, I need better time management myself. But one of it was just like getting out of my room, and because my computer, my desk is in my room, my bedroom, and so it's really hard for me to sometimes focus. But not, I just want to lay in bed. I just want to lay in bed or read up, do something else, go on my phone instead of working on my computer and doing things more productively. So luckily we have a spare room, so I just like remove myself from my bedroom and I go to that other room and just work on that desk, and it just has helped me just in a different environment be more focused.
Mm-hmm.
So that's helped me a lot. So I really, and I applied that from just reading the book. Just the book telling you your environment really affects your habits. So you just associate everything with something, like maybe a certain chair you always sit in, and that's where you read your book. So you put your book next to that specific chair or couch, and so when you see the couch or chair, you're more inclined to go read that book.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get into the habit of those things, and like we've mentioned before, bundle it up with other things that from what you need to do and what you want to do, and again, a whole bunch of other useful things that you can find in the book. And I think it's a great book, and it has a lot of good reviews, so it's not just us.
Yeah, it's not a long book either. It's a pretty short read, and I think we'll definitely link it in the description and stuff. So yeah, really helpful book. I like it. It's pretty easy and stuff. So, but do you remember when we saw Arnold Schwarzenegger together?
Yeah,
That was so
at Irvine, or
yeah, it was Irvine Spectrum.
Irvine Special. It was like the most random,
But it was so cool. Like this
So
man, like, I mean, okay, maybe not at the, but he was amazing to me because I used to watch his old movies like Twins and what a Jingle All the Way and Kindergarten Cop, and then also like I appreciate that moment even more because I would watch his what's that called, the documentary about his life and stuff, and
I didn't see that.
how he like
Got to where he
yeah,
was.
and like he didn't really have a supportive, family unit and stuff, and came here all by himself,
with the dream and the idea,
yes.
like, I'm gonna be the next Mr. He was a Mr. Universe, and
Mr. Universe and
he
stuff.
just had that ingrained, like, no, that's gonna be me. Like, he had no doubt in his mind. He was hungry for it.
Yeah, he had nothing.
Yeah,
he had nothing, and he worked up, and it's just for me to go back to that moment that we saw him. You're seeing a legend.
Oh yeah, yeah,
a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know if you've ever watched him in Conan. Have you ever watched? Was it Conan?
Yeah, that's
the Barbarian.
Yeah. And
holy smokes, that body.
The thing is,
so nuts.
Like, a lot of people in his situation would think like, oh, my accent, I'm a foreigner, like that would limit me.
Yeah.
But he used that to his advantage. Like, he's like, no,
I love it.
I can still be an actor.
Yeah.
I can still do these things. And he just, again, had this focus and this
self-love.
drive. Yeah.
Self-love. That took a lot of self-love to talk to himself in a positive mindset, that he was able to continuously conquer and just, move from project to project. You know what I mean? Like,
I think there has to be some, like you said, self-love and confidence in yourself.
Yes.
To a point where no matter what the naysayers say, you're able to still move past that and still like continue on your journey of just improving yourself.
Yeah.
Because nobody talks about the failures. Nobody talks about, all those, moments, the little moments and the hard moments. People just look at the success and like, wow, look at you. Like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. You're so blessed. Like, no, that person worked their ass off.
Yeah.
They worked really hard for it. And it's only until you hear them actually talk about the many no's that they heard, the many failures that they went through to get that one yes.
Yeah. Which I really appreciate hearing. Some people won't talk about their failures. And I love it when I watch these documentaries like that they had a lot of challenges.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of road blockages, a lot of moments that they almost wanted to quit. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate that because there's so many times I was just like, maybe I'm not cut for it because, I don't get any yeses. You know what I mean? So I really do appreciate like watching all these coverage stories on people's lives, on successful people's lives, and they talk about their failures and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it just shows you I think in life there's just going to be a lot of no's, but it's just all you need is that one yes, right?
Yeah.
Just that one yes, and it's just putting yourself out there constantly, even in the midst of rejection, and still being able to be like, I'm still going to wake up the next day. I'm still going to put myself out there again. And like us doing this podcast, like we're just doing it, like you're just doing this podcast, and it's been so great. And
you learn a lot through the
process.
Yeah, in the process. I think it's really good. A lot of people are like, oh, just concentrate on one thing only, and you only see one focus point. But for me, I'm learning all these different skills and applying it to this podcast, or I'm taking whatever I learned from this podcast and applying it to my other projects. And it's helped immensely.
Yeah. I think this has really, just having this podcast and just being able to talk with you at least once a week, especially during time like COVID times, it's just really helps me still maintain a connection with you, with people out there, if they're listening, if they're not, if they are, like, it doesn't really matter. It's just like, you're just putting yourself out there and hopefully being vulnerable and just being authentically ourselves, and hopefully people will connect with that.
And I absolutely love that we are able to be vulnerable. Like, it's scary being vulnerable at first, and you're just like, oh, how are they going to judge me and everything? But I think since we started this podcast and I said things that maybe I'm like, oh, I don't know how that's going to be accepted with the listeners and stuff. And I'm here now. I'm like, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care what you think, but I'm going to say it. And you can, maybe it's the way that I look at other people's, documentaries and stuff like that. Like I learned from something from watching or listening to them. And I hopefully that's what you guys will get. But the main important thing is that I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I think I personally, like, of course, there's a part of me deep down inside that does care what people think, right? That's just like how I am as a human, right? Just me. But my desire to want to connect and want to share and be vulnerable, because hoping that will lessen someone else's worries, that will hopefully help them connect with me, or find a connection that, like, oh, I'm not alone. That desire to want to connect with somebody or have that connection with another person and help them out of their darkness is greater than my fear of, like, oh, what do people think? Like, of course I care what people think, but I care more about, like, helping people, about, like, realizing, like,
well, you want to be of service.
And they listen to it and they're like, oh man, Liz went through that. Oh, Debbie went through that. Like, oh God, okay. Like,
and they're still okay.
We're okay. We're alive. We're doing our best, and that's all. That's all anyone can ask for. And we just hope that you guys get something out of this. And I think it's time for us. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And if you have any questions or anything, or any suggestions of things you'd like us to talk about, any questions for us, please email us at mooncakes.podcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at mooncakes.podcast. And
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. And everything that we talked about today about the book, Atomic Habits stuff, we'll definitely link. The music that we suggested,
Oh yeah. Well,
definitely we'll put in the description too. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Deb and Liz, we out.
see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.